on today's episode of Video Marketing Madness, how to get great audio for your videos. And today's episode is made possible by the Pocket Video Pro. Now, if you don't know what the Pocket Video Pro is, well, let me tell you, because it's something you're really going to like, and it actually fits in with today's show. You get a lapel microphone that actually works with your iPhone or Android phone, and with the flip of a switch, you can actually use it in a regular video camera. So it's a very versatile little microphone. In fact, I've got it right here in front of me, which for those of you listening later, you won't be able to see it. But for those of you watching, well, here it is. It's right here. It's a nice little microphone, lapel microphone.
Oh, yeah. Very
and
cool.
Along with that, you also get a tripod mount, so you can mount your smartphone to your tripod to get a nice stable shot. And it also comes with a video editing program as well as some other goodies for making great video. So check it out today at pocketvideopro.com. There you go.
I will. And now a hit of that funky music, a white boy.
Let's do it. Ready? Here we go. Let's hit that music.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.
It's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. You can find us not only here doing a Facebook Live Thursday afternoons at about 2 o'clock Eastern. I say at about. It's normally somewhere around there. But then we also have the show on our home network, which is earn.show. That's where our podcast, audio podcast, is hosted. You can subscribe there. You can subscribe on Stitcher, Blog Talk Radio, YouTube. We take this and upload it to our YouTube channel. And, of course, Ray's favorite. What is that favorite, Ray?
iTunes.
iTunes. That's right.
iTunes, indeed. And, by the way, speaking of good old iTunes, we solicit. We're a show that's not afraid to beg you to head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review. And, tell your friends, tell your enemies, make them go out there and do that. And, of course, you could be just like some of the absolutely awesome people who have already done this and have their spot in heaven, such as Archival Photographic Services, who says, and this is one of my favorite ones of all time.
I know it is.
Ray is fantastic, but I do wonder about Steve.
I do, too.
This is a very good show whose helpful tips can benefit many other businesses that are related to video, but not just video. It's helped me. Thanks, Ray and Steve. Or you could be like Blue Alaska Sky, who says they were hooked from the first show they listened to. Keep up the good work, guys. I listened to the whole thing and enjoyed it all. It's good to have good stuff reinforced and find hidden gems along the way. So if you want to be really extra loved, like Blue Alaska Sky, and Archival Photographic Services, head on over to iTunes. Give us a 5-star review, and we'll send you a Corvette.
Yeah.
Minus the part about the Corvette. But
yeah,
do it anyway.
A little red Corvette.
Yes, very little. A Matchbox car, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And you can check out my voiceover talent gig on Fiverr. The link is stevesleeper.com.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, this I'm and I got to tell you, just for those of you that don't know, I'm the audio producer of the program. So after it's all done, I take it and upload it to all the places we were talking about. And co-host, it's kind of iffy as how good I am at that, but I really don't care what anybody thinks. But I am looking at the camera.
That's right. Me too.
So, but that being said, being an audio guy, I'm really looking forward to this program, and just sitting back and acting like somebody who's just listening to the program. This is how I keep up on video marketing, so it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, well, and the reason I wanted to bring this up is actually for a couple of reasons, really. Mm-hmm. One thing that people don't often realize is that when it comes to video, audio is actually more important than just about anything, because
That's right.
people will sit through bad video if they can hear what's going on. But if they can't hear what's going on, they're gone. Because, that's where you get most of your real sense of what's happening is through audio, through the voice. Unless you're a lip reader, it makes it very difficult if it's bad audio. And so that's why one of the reasons I wanted to bring this up. The other is that one of the things that I do, and I actually do this on Thursday mornings, is I scour YouTube and I comment on people's stuff. I consciously go and comment on videos. I look up videos. I like their videos. I subscribe to people. I answer people's questions. And by the way, if you're looking to improve your channel, this is one way to do this, is to go out and look at other videos, like them, comment on them, subscribe. And then the biggest one for me is answer people's questions, because oftentimes people will put out a video and, and I'm guilty of this too. So, somebody's going to come back and say, well, you never answered mine. Well, yeah, I'm not always great at it either. But one thing
It's hard
to do.
Let me say one thing. Forgive me for interrupting, because I have sometimes people getting to me and saying, Ray never got back to me, and what's wrong with him? He must be dishonest. No, he's not dishonest, and I don't know why he didn't get back to you, but I'll, you know what I'm saying. People always jump to conclusions that you're trying to pull a fast one on because you didn't get back to him. Ray will always get back to you. Don't believe any of that stuff. He's a good guy. I've had situations where people have got in touch with me, he hasn't gotten back to me. I text Ray and he gets back to him right away. So the only thing I would say is, sometimes he'll get 100 messages in a day and he might miss one. Don't just give him the benefit of the doubt. Well, okay, 1,000, 1 billion.
But no, like I always tell people, I'm like, hey, I'm not that difficult to find anyway.
No.
But this has nothing to do with, the YouTube part of things. But, I mean, anybody who wants to get in touch with me, the easiest way is Facebook. But what I find is people find some old email. They send a message to an old email that I don't really use anymore. And then they don't hear back from me. And they're like, I can't believe I didn't hear back from you. Well, I'm not hard to find. But
yeah,
anyway.
and you know what I'm saying, Ray. I mean,
yeah.
If I've never not been able to get a hold of you when I need to get a hold of you.
Message the radio show, and I guarantee it'll get back to us. It's
I mean, I check that all the time,
Yep.
and I've always found if Ray has inadvertently missed something, it's either A, you've emailed an old email address, or B, he just missed it the first time.
Yeah.
So I know I'm getting a little off task, but my point is, you wouldn't be helping people on YouTube if you didn't want to get back to people. I mean, you wouldn't be answering their questions and trying to help them out if you didn't want to get back to them. So anyhow, that's my rant for today.
Yeah. So, but the point on all that is, if you go out and let's say you're, in this case, I happen to be looking up videos dealing with audio for video, and that was before we even decided to do this episode. This episode actually came out of doing that. And what I discovered, not just in this situation, but in most situations, is people will post a video, for instance, maybe, hey, this is a great microphone for your iPhone and your Android phone, blah, blah, blah. And then people have a whole bunch of questions that they ask and nobody answers them. Well, Guess what? If you go and answer those questions, suddenly you get new subscribers, people ask you questions, things like that. And it works very, very well. And I was doing this just this morning, dealing with microphones for smartphones. And I answered a bunch of different people's questions, and I realized, boy, there's a lot of people who don't understand audio. And I don't consider myself a major expert in audio by any stretch of the imagination. But when it comes to video, I kind of understand how that works. And so I really wanted to bring this subject up and help people to get through the idea of doing audio for your video. And there are a number of ways to do it. For instance, if you are looking at, a regular video camera, you've got a few different options for microphones that you can use. Your camera probably has an on-camera microphone. Now, that can be great in a pinch, but not the best way to utilize audio for your video is the on-camera mic. And that goes the same for using an iPhone. You don't want to necessarily use the microphone that's built in there either, unless you're really, really close to it. And the reason for that is because, one rule of thumb that I've put out this morning, actually, when I was talking to some people is, a great mic an inexpensive mic at a foot away is better than an expensive, nice mic at 10 feet away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so you're better off getting something that's not even a great microphone, but that you can put on your lapel real close, and you're going to get better audio no matter what. It's definitely going to be better than the on-camera microphone for a smartphone or for even a professional microphone. A professional camera. So pick up a lavalier microphone for whatever project you're doing, or one of the other types of microphones that we're talking about. Now, when you're shooting with a really, you're trying to get some audio, the best one is the lavalier microphone, in my opinion, for most situations. Now, there are situations where that's not the best option, and we'll talk about that in a second. But a lavalier mic, for those of you who don't know, a lapel mic is the kind that you'll see on, news anchors wear them. Not news reporters. They're usually using a handheld so they can stick into other people's faces. But a lavalier microphone, a lot of people use them for things like talk shows. They'll use them for exercise videos. They'll use them for TV news. They'll use them for stand-up interviews, sit-down interviews. All those different types of things will use lavalier microphones because they're very close. They're right here. You've only got 4 inches away, so you're going to pick up the audio really well. Some of them are really very good microphones, but even a cheap microphone is going to be better than the on-camera microphone from 3, 4, 5, 10 feet away. And so that's the first thing is, look for a lavalier. Now, where do you find these types of things? Well, Amazon, B&H, any of those types of sites will have these types of microphones. For traditional cameras, a great microphone to use is the Audio-Technica, and I don't know the model number or anything, but if you look up, Audio-Technica lavalier mic, you'll find it. It's like $20, $30. It's not much. Might be 40, but
I use it's not a lavalier, obviously, but I use an Audio-Technica, very good mic.
Yeah, they make some very good products. For those of you that are doing things where, maybe having a 10-foot cord is not the best option, there's also wireless microphones.
Yeah.
Now, wireless microphones, this is one that could be a show unto itself because there's a lot of different things involved in wireless microphones. But
what I learned? You know what I learned the hard way?
What's that?
Don't buy a cheap one. The cell phones interfere with them.
Yeah, that's exactly, and that's the next thing I was going to bring up with those. Mm-hmm. They're fantastic, but what you want to look for, and it's not so much the price. Price will kind of tell you. If you see one for $80, you probably know it's not going to be a great one, but that's not necessarily the deciding factor. If you see one that's $500, it's probably a really good one, but that's not necessarily the deciding factor. What you want to look for, and for those of you who are over the age of about 30, you might know what I'm talking about here. You want to look for ones that, I know, right? You want to look for ones that are UHF, okay? Now, UHF, for those of you who are, older.
Over the age of 30.
Yeah, over the age of 30. In the old days, when you watched television, you had 2 types of television channels. You had VHF and you had UHF. Now, VHF, oddly enough, were the NBC stations in the area, the CBS, the PBS, the ABC, sometimes Fox. Fox was obviously a network that came up later, so there wasn't a lot of VHF stations left. So a lot of theirs were UHF, but VHF was kind of that range. UHF was a lot of your local channels that were not affiliate with a big network. They were just your small local channels. Now, the difference is one is ultra high frequency, UHF. One is very high frequency, VHF. And while in television, the VHF were the really good, clear stations, whereas UHF were a lot harder to pick up and to get a good signal on. In the world of microphones, it's the exact opposite. You want a UHF microphone because the ultra high frequency has much less interference. And like Steve said, the VHF frequency, you're going to pick up CB radios, you're going to pick up cell phones, you're going to pick up mobile, the portable phones if people still have those in their house. A lot of those types of things can interfere with the VHF frequencies. So you want to get a UHF frequency. And the big difference is VHF has very few frequencies. And that's why UHF was so popular for all those TV stations. There's a huge spectrum on UHF, and so you can lock down a nice frequency that nobody's using, and you're not going to get interference. So it's definitely the way you want to go with that. When you're using a wireless microphone, it's going to work great for a traditional video camera. However, if you want to use one of these with, let's say, your iPhone or your Android phone, what you have to have is some sort of an adapter that allows you to plug that in so that can plug into the phone's jack. Now, you can get those from a few different places. On Amazon, they have some. Movo Photo Video has some, as well as KV Technologies has some. And there are different ones, so you want to be very careful with this. When you pick out your wireless microphone, they're going to have different types of connections. They could have what's called an XLR connection, which is a very clear, good. Your really good microphones are going to have a XLR connection, which is a traditional microphone connection. It's going to be very low impedance, so you get a really good signal out of that. Some of the other ones are going to have your traditional TRS plug, which is the plug that you use to plug into your phone or into a Walkman or anything like that. It's your headphone plug. And so the ones that have the headphone plug are going to require one type of adapter.
There's my wife. Hi, Steph.
Hello, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
You
Hi,
are
Steph.
live on the air.
You are live on the air. Turn out, Steph, turn your radio down.
Okay.
All right.
Turn the radio down, caller. And then we just lost Steve as well, so he'll pop back in a second, but that's all right. So when you're doing these UHF and VHFs and in a wireless microphone, you need to get the right adapter. So when you buy an adapter to attach to your phone, you need to know whether it's going to be an XLR adapter or it's going to be a microphone adapter. And the two different kinds will make a big difference depending upon which one you want to use. So check those out at some of those locations we mentioned, and you'll be able to hook the very popular, very high quality wireless microphones directly to your phone. And by the way, it's not just for lavalier mics. You also get to have a wireless mic. You can use the handheld wireless mics with them and some of the over-the-ear wireless mics. So some of the systems will have those options as well so that you can use them with a variety of different mics and not just a lapel mic. So check those out. If you want one that's UHF and fairly inexpensive, Movo Photo has one. I haven't tested it, so I don't know how great it is, but it is a lot less expensive than buying a big name brand like Sony or Sennheiser, which can run you up to $700 or $800 or even $1,200. Another one is Samsung makes some very good wireless microphones that you can get for around $300 or so. So there's a lot of different options out there. Check places like Movo Photo, check places like B&H Photo Video, Amazon. You should be able to find one that's very good. Okay, so let's go beyond using our wireless mics and our lapel mics and head on over to the world of shotgun microphones. Now, if you don't know what a shotgun microphone is, this is the thing that you will see if you ever watch a behind the scenes of people making a TV show or a movie. You'll see that they've got that big, long microphone, and usually there's a guy standing there holding it on a big, long pole, which is called a boom pole. And what that does is a shotgun microphone is what's called a directional microphone. And oddly enough, it probably shouldn't be called a shotgun microphone. It should probably be called a rifle microphone because a shotgun kind of sends things out in all directions a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas this is it's almost like a laser beam. So you're literally taking that mic and pointing it towards somebody, and it'll pick up what they're saying and pull it into that mic even from a long distance. And we've actually tested this in a few places where I was surprised it worked as well as it did. We were out on a lake doing a fishing show, and we were in two different boats, and we were waiting to shoot and everything. And I pointed that microphone to another boat, with a couple of our other guys that were pretty far away, and I was able to pick up their conversation, which really, it surprised me that it was able to pick up that far away. But you can actually do that. It kind of reminds you of like the old spy shows where they have the parabolic mics with the big satellite dish behind the microphone, and where it pulls out all the audio that way. But that's kind of how they work. You point it at the person, and it's going to pick them up from a distance. I used to use them quite a bit inside my little home studio. I used to have one up here, and it would point down, and I would shoot that way. There's just not a lot of room for it, so now I use the lapel mic most of the time. But a shotgun mic is a great way to do that. There are some available that actually will plug directly into a phone. So if you're shooting with your phone, there are some that will do that. I believe Rode makes one that does that. I could be wrong. Don't take me 100% on that, but I believe one of theirs actually does plug directly into an iPhone or an Android phone. But if not, you can get a traditional microphone and use that same KV Technologies adapter or the adapter from Movo Photo and plug it in that way, and now you'll have a good shotgun mic. Now, when would you want to use a shotgun mic? Well, to be honest with you, believe it or not, a shotgun microphone, a decent shotgun microphone, is actually of better quality in most cases than a lapel mic. So you're going to get a better sound. You've got you'll get better low end audio. It's got roll off, so it just gives you a much clearer, cleaner signal, and it's actually a very good quality microphone when you can use it. The downside is it's kind of a pain in the neck to use. You have to mount it onto something, and some people mount it on top of their camera, but the problem with that is they stick out so far that sometimes you see the tip of that microphone right in the shot of the camera like this, and you can't get it out of there because it's actually on the camera itself. So that can be a bit of a pain in the neck. I've got a very good shotgun mic, and when I put it on the top of one of my cameras, I can see it.
So that's not good. Well, and also with a shotgun mic, depending on what you're doing, you kind of want to get it in the vicinity of the on-air talent too, more so than you have the camera, because of zoom on the camera.
Exactly, and it works in a similar way that we talked about with the lapel mics. Closer is better. Now you don't want to have a shotgun mic right in your face, but you want to have it. You don't want to have it 30 feet away either. You want to have it, maybe 3 feet away, 4 feet away. That kind of thing is ideal, and that's why you see the guys on the set holding the boom pole and trying to stick it down into the shot and get the people. And that's how they shoot things like TV shows and movies and stuff like that, is with the shotgun mics, because they are very, very good microphones. And of course, you don't see them. The problem with lapel mics is people don't like to see it. And of course, you can see it on their shirt, and people will complain about that, and, whatever. But
it'll do this on their shirt.
Yeah, it'll do that on their shirt as well. Yeah, you have to wear a certain type of shirt, a button-up shirt. So that
for those of you listening on the radio, I was kind of pulling my T-shirt down a little bit.
Yes.
Not too far, because I don't want to gross anyone out.
Works better with a button-up shirt that's kind of dark, where you can't see it as much. But yeah, that is a problem. Is it can mess with your clothing, and it is visible on screen, especially if you're outdoors and you have to put a big, windsock on the top of there, that muff that sticks out like a sore thumb. So that's when a boom microphone can be a much better choice for you. But in different situations, different mics will work better for you than others. So the other thing we want to talk about beyond it. By the way, Steve, it's kind of a funny thing here. I don't know, those of you who are watching on Facebook, but Steve's shirt keeps changing color.
I know. I looked at this today. I haven't done my laundry, and I've got this aqua T-shirt on, and it's all I got left, because I normally wore a black T-shirt.
Well, no, when you watch the video, for those watching the video, you're probably seeing this. Your shirt keeps changing color.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if it's because of the screen, light from the screen or whatever, but it keeps going from a dark blue to a light blue. It's like flashing. I don't know how.
Yeah, I should have done my laundry last night. So anyhow, that's all I got left, man. It's better than not wearing a shirt at all.
It's just I just thought I'd point that out. If you're listening, go back to Facebook and watch this, because it's kind of funny watching his shirt change color like a stoplight. I don't know if it's an electrical signal type thing that's doing it, or what.
Yeah, I don't see it, but the last time I wore this shirt, which was months ago, I could see it on the recording. So I don't know.
That's funny. Anyway, so let's get back to our microphones. I just thought I'd point that out to have some fun here. So
I could go change, maybe find something.
Nah, that's okay. That's okay.
Maybe put on a toque, a black toque. Okay, go ahead.
So other types of microphones that we can use for this. Obviously, right now we're recording a podcast, and as you can, for those of you watching, you can see my microphone right here. And what I'm using is an RE20 radio microphone. Steve is using an Audio-Technica microphone, and these are they're a little different than the ones you would attach to a video normally. Most of these are probably some sort of cardioid pickup pattern. Now, if you don't know what that means, most of the lapel mics that you're going to get are what they call omnidirectional. So whether you're in front of the microphone, on top of the microphone, below the microphone, to the left, to the right, it's going to pick up the same any direction that you want. Whereas a shotgun is going to pick up just directly in front of you in a straight line. A cardioid pattern is going to pick up in front of you and a little bit wider on the sides. And they call it cardioid, cardi meaning heart, and literally it's a heart-shaped pattern around the microphone that picks it up. So like a shotgun, it's going to pick up a little bit more and a little bit further away when you're right in front of it, but it's also going to pick up a little bit from the sides as long as you're fairly close, and then it's going to try and tail off and not pick up anything around you, whereas omnidirectional is just going to pick up sounds from every direction, which is why, when we're doing this show, if cars are speeding by outside, you're probably not going to hear them because it's a fairly directional cardioid pattern. But if we were using a lapel mic, you might hear that because it's going to pick up sounds from every direction no matter what. So,
I had a Yeti before.
Yep.
And actually, the quality wasn't bad. Little thin on the lower end, but you'd have to be an audio guy to hear that. The reason I ended up getting the Audio Technica is you could hear the dogs walking in the next room on that Yeti, whereas obviously I work out of my home. You saw my wife walk in. First time that's happened. But I leave the door open and, all that kind of stuff. And it just does not pick up the background noise, the cardioid.
Yes.
That's the good thing about it. So
that's the beauty of that. And there's a lot of different microphones you can use for things like desktop video, like we're doing here, or maybe you're even just doing a podcast for traditional audio with no video.
Right.
Microphones like the Yeti, very, very good microphone for that kind of stuff. And it has, believe it or not, the Yeti actually has a dial on there where you can change the pickup pattern from omnidirectional to cardioid to dual. So you've actually got some options with that. And there's other microphones similar to that. My daughter uses a snowball microphone, which is also a Yeti, a very good microphone. It looks like it's a little bit bigger than a softball. It's a big round mic, a little bigger than a softball, and it's got a very interesting looking microphone. It picks up very well, has a nice little stand, and it does a nice job. Actually, honestly, I can't tell the difference between that and the Yeti, and the Yeti's probably double the price. So it's a very good microphone.
The Blue microphones are good all-purpose mics if your primary mission is video, and your secondary mission is podcasting.
Yes.
If you're primarily doing podcasting, then you want a cardioid mic.
Absolutely. Now, other microphones you want to consider, Samson also has a very good desktop microphone that's similar to the way the Yeti or the Snowball work. That one is usually available at Best Buy, so any of those three can usually be picked up at a place like Best Buy or Fry's Electronics. So they're very easy to get a hold of. And there's a whole bunch of others. We won't sit here and go into every single one because that would take a year. But the point being is you want to get a decent microphone. Obviously, if you're doing things like we do, I am very often sitting in this chair talking into the microphone in front of me, and I'm using my radio mic here.
Oh, yeah.
If I was not using this and I was using the on-screen mic here on my iMac, it would sound terrible. The mic kind of points up and I'm sitting in front. It's omnidirectional. It's far away. And it just doesn't... Actually, it sounds better than I would expect, believe it or not. But it's still not going to be great. And the interesting thing is there have been times where I didn't have a microphone and I needed to record something. And I just stand up and stand directly over the microphone on the Mac, talk into it, and believe it or not, it sounds very, very good. It's surprising how good it is. But again,
takes the ambience away.
It takes the ambience away. It absolutely does. It pulls the gain way down so that you're not picking up. Because that's one of the issues that we run into all the time is when you're doing audio, there's a thing called automatic gain control. And most of your decent cameras will have control over this. Some of them will not. Some of them have it. It's on. You can't do anything about it. And you just have to go with it. And we're going to talk about a little secret with that in a second. But with those types of audio gain controls, the way they work is when you're talking, as we're talking right now, an automatic gain control will measure the audio that's coming out as I speak and say, okay, this is the level we want. Now, if I stop talking for a minute, all of a sudden, it's going to go up and up and up and up and up and up and up to try and pick something up to get to that level again. And what's it going to pick up? Well, it's going to pick up. You're going to get this hissing sound. because it's trying to pick up anything it can to stay at that nice level that it was at before.
That's right.
And then
That's
once
right.
you start talking again, it's going to come back down. And we ran into this issue recently. I had somebody who was they were shooting some footage for me, and they would stand up and do a voiceover reading on a green screen, and they would send me the audio, and it would start off with them really, really loud and hissing in the background, and then after like 10 seconds, all of a sudden the audio would be very clear again. And I told him, I said, well, I said, we can't use this, and he's like, well, what's wrong with it? I don't understand it. I said, well, it sounds like you got automatic gain control on, because it starts off very loud hiss. You're very loud when you start talking, and then it brings it down. So what you want to do, if you have this issue, if you've got a camera that's automatic gain control, you can't control that gain, here's what you can do. Turn the camera on, talk into the camera, and just do a countdown. That way you've got, before you're doing the important part of your read, just count to 10. Or give the title of the video. Hey, we're going to shoot, this is going to be the video for such and such company. The subject is going to be this, and we're ready to go in 3, 2, 1. And now you start talking, and it's going to normalize down to what you want it to be. You're not going to get that issue, and it's going to help you out a lot. And I was able to tell him, I was like, look, just talk. Talk before you start, and that way the gain will come down. It'll match your voice. And then you do the reading, and the reading will be fine. And that's what he did, and it was pretty good. Still had a little bit of the issue, but I was able to get around that and say, okay, that's good enough. We can live with that. But that's one of the issues you need to deal with is audio gain control. If you're using a fairly cheap microphone, not a microphone, microphone too, but a fairly cheap video camera, it's going to be on there. There's not going to be a whole lot you can do about it. So you have to do those types of things to normalize it before you get started. And not only is it going to be louder, but it's going to be louder and picking up everything around you, and it's going to be picking up your echo at the same time too. Because even if you don't hear an echo in here right now, that microphone, if it's an omnidirectional microphone, it's not focusing in on your voice, it's going to pick up the echo as well, and it's going to cause an issue with your audio. So if you're talking to the microphone for a few seconds, then go, it's going to be a lot better. So
Google Hangouts does that. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but most people with Google Hangouts they don't notice it because, are we live? Yeah, it looks like we're live. Okay, we're live. Hey, everybody, and so they don't really notice that. But the few times that I've tried just to record something on Google Hangouts because I was being lazy, I just wanted to record a quick video and put it on a website. I found it didn't work so well because it does what you just described.
Yep,
So
it absolutely
something
does.
to note. Yeah.
Because we got to remember with a technology like Google Hangouts, it isn't meant for making polished videos. It's meant for collaboration. And when you're just collaborating with somebody, that perfect audio is not as vital as when you're creating a video. So that's one of the issues you're going to run into with that. But very easily fixable just by talking into the microphone for a few seconds beforehand. And believe me, I'm telling you, the difference is huge. It's not, only some audio professional is going to notice the difference. I mean, it's a major difference in the sound quality just by doing that. So it's definitely something you can do to kind of make it better. So to recap a little bit again, if you're looking to get good audio, you want to do it inexpensively, a nice wired lapel mic will do that for you. A wireless lapel mic if you want to spend a little more money and you want to be able to have some distance. Now, one little thing about that, by the way, I still prefer the wired lapel mic. If I have both, I'm going to use the wired one, just because, it's not going to have any potential of interference. It's not going to have issues of batteries dying. It's just a much better option for me. I like it a lot better when it's wired than when it's wireless. Your other option is to add a shotgun microphone. If you want to attach it to a smartphone as opposed to a traditional video camera, you're going to need to get some sort of adapter to be able to do that, but you can get those fairly inexpensively as well. On top of that, if you're going to be doing any kind of traditional right in front of the camera like we're doing here, a nice microphone with a cardioid pattern, going to be a great one to use. Like I said, I use a professional radio microphone. This is actually a very expensive one, not one that everyone's going to want to go out and get. Steve uses the Audio Technica, another very nice microphone. You can also
$70. $70. And there's one called Knox that's kind of a knockoff of Knox. It's a knockoff of Audio Technica for like $40. Good cardioid mics, just FYI.
Yep, and Heil makes a really good radio microphone as well that you can check out. Then, of course, you got your Blue Snowballs and your Blue Yetis and your Samson desktop mics and things like that. So there's a lot of great options out there. But the biggest takeaway from this today is if you're creating any kind of video, make sure that you try to get the best audio possible, because that's what people care about, is that audio. So there you go. That's that.
Absolutely. Yeah, very, very good stuff. Thanks for doing that. Mindset matters?
Mindset matters. Yes, indeed. Let's hit our little Mindset Matters bumper here. There we go. Oh, boy, it still it likes to lock up whenever I hit that one. I don't understand why.
And now, Mindset Matters.
It's very strange. It's only that particular button when I press it that it kind of locks everything up for a second. I don't know why. Anyway.
You used the MP3, didn't you?
Yeah, I switched over to it because I thought it was trying to load the big one before, but no, it's MP3. The songs load fine, just that one sound file for whatever reason. Anyway, for today's Mindset Matters, we're going to talk about something called Pomodoro. Pomodoro. Now, if you don't know what Pomodoro is, this is a method of improving your productivity. And it's a method it was actually developed quite a while ago, but nowadays it's kind of been adapted into the technology age in a different sort of way. Now, the basic idea behind the Pomodoro method is if you've got tasks you need to do for the day, you do it in chunks. And so, for instance, let's say on my day when I'm setting my things up, today is my social media day. So I may have, I'm going to do social media with YouTube. I'm going to do it with Facebook. I'm going to do it with Instagram. I'm going to do it with Twitter. And so I break this up in a way that the Pomodoro method says, okay, for 55 minutes, you're going to work on X. And it gives you a timer, and you work nonstop for 55 minutes. At the end of those 55 minutes, you get 5 minutes to do whatever you want, and it'll count down those 5 minutes. At the end of the 5 minutes, next task, 55 minutes. And it's going to do this, traditionally it does this 4 times. So that would be 4 hours that you work. At the end of those 4 hours, it's going to force you to take a half-hour break. You take your half-hour break, you come back, you do your next 4 hours with 5-minute intervals in between, and then you're either done for the day or you do the next one. And it's a very good method for being able to help you get more productive with what you want to do, because you've got exact tasks. You've got a timer. You've got, and you look forward to that 5 minutes. The 5 minutes, you could, maybe in 5 minutes, you play Candy Crush for 5 minutes, or you go up and get some water or whatever it happens to be. Half hour, you go do your lunch, you go for a walk, whatever it is you need to do in that half hour. And it really helps with productivity. And the great thing is there are a ton of tools for doing Pomodoro method. There's one called, I believe, Tomatoes, and there's another one, they're all tomato themed ones. But if you look online, you do a search, you'll find there's a ton of Pomodoro apps for your phone. There's a ton of them for your computer. A lot of them will actually integrate with any sort of task manager you use. So, for instance, I use the Pomodoro method, and the task manager that I use is Wunderlist. So with Wunderlist, it'll actually bring those tasks from Wunderlist into the Pomodoro app. The Pomodoro app will pull that in and say, okay, work on this for 55 minutes. And there you go. And by the way, you can change that up. It could be 25 and 5. It could be, you decide what you want to set it to, and then you work on it based off of that. But it's a very, very good, methodology for making sure that you're more productive. And there's a lot of great apps that help you to do that. So that's my tip for the day to improve your mindset and your productivity. So there you go.
Very cool, and it's the radio show about video marketing madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. If you like us, tell a friend to listen in. It's great tips, and if you ever need some voiceovers for your videos, I've got a gig on Fiverr. The link's at stevesleeper.com. And today's show made possible by
the Pocket Video Pro. As we talked about microphones, well, the Pocket Video Pro has a lapel microphone for your iPhone, Android phone, and with a flick of a little switch, you can actually use it in a traditional camera as well, because believe it or not, microphones are different on iPhones than they are, or smartphones than they are on a traditional video camera. So if you want to plug it into your DSLR, you can flip a switch, plug it in, and now you've got a microphone for that as well. It also comes with a tripod mount for your phone that actually has a shoe mount, so you can add lights and shotgun microphones to the top of it, so you can have an entire rig with your iPhone as the camera. So it's a very good little product. You can get it right now at pocketvideopro.com, and it even comes with a video editor and extra graphics and images and all that other stuff that you might use inside your videos. So check it out today at pocketvideopro.com.
Very cool. Hey, let's wrap it up with the Jengal.
I'm sorry, did you say rap?
Rap. Rap me out, baby.
Biggie. He's Ray, the video guy. Yeah, Ray, the video guy. His skill is where it's at. Even if he's a little fat, he's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need, you know. He stays sharp like a crease in his pants. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing super sick. He's Ray, the video guy, yeah. Ray, the video guy, yeah.
And sorry about the shirt.